A loved one's passing or incapacitation can exacerbate sensitive family dynamics. Simple disputes can escalate quickly, and sometimes the conflict requires legal intervention. In the next few minutes, you'll learn a little bit about probate litigation and how my team can help you if you're in the middle of a probate dispute. Typical things that could cause a dispute in a probate are validity of a will, or who is actually an heir under the common law statutes, or when someone is asking the court to determine what a will is actually meaning, because sometimes they're vague or the person didn't write it very well. A lot of things with blended families, when one person says, I was taking care of mom or dad and they passed away and promised me something verbally. So a lot of things where people are believing they're entitled based upon representations that may be not written down also give rise to those probate disputes. When we're talking about a will specifically, there are certain grounds that someone can bring to challenge that. One is lack of capacity. If they don't believe the person had the required cognition to have made those documents. There's also undue influence. If someone believes that there's an outside actor having influenced someone to make a will or make changes to a will or a trust, that's very common. Sometimes outright fraud, if someone wrote something and put someone's signature on it that was not the decedent, that can give rise to a will or a trust challenge as well. If people feel they were left out and shouldn't have been, if they believe they were promised something that's not in the writing, they may also try to challenge the will or a trust. Deadlines for challenging a will or a trust can be variable based upon independent circumstances. Generally, most will contests would need to be brought within 3 years of the date of the person's death. If a probate's already been opened, that can be shortened to 6 months, 12 months. Now, if someone didn't get proper notice, then there could be rise for extension of those deadlines. Fraud can also extend those deadlines. So it's really important to have a legal professional weigh in on the specific facts of the circumstances surrounding the will and the possible challenge. When there is a dispute over a guardian or conservator in Colorado, the court will generally decide who is in the best position to be appointed in those roles. Sometimes there is a necessity for a neutral third-party professional, but it will either need to be resolved through all of the parties' agreement, or a judge will ultimately make those decisions. If you think a professional fiduciary in a trust, or a trustee, or someone acting as a personal representative, or even a power of attorney while someone's still living, we would call that a fiduciary role. And if you think there's been problems in how they've acted or even a breach, it's important to first and foremost keep evidence of that. Communications, records if you have them. There are authorities that can be involved on the criminal side. Adult Protective Services can open investigations. There can be, the authorities that are called as appropriate. And then on the civil side, you can petition the court for possible breaches of those fiduciary roles. Also, too, in the probate court, to stop those actions from occurring, you could bring conservatorship and guardianship proceedings if the person's still living, or you can bring a trust or a probate action if the person has already passed. When assessing whether there's been a breach or not, you have to determine if you are someone who would be able to bring that type of action. If you are just an interested family member, you may not have standing, so you may need to involve the authorities who can then act. If you are a direct beneficiary under a will, if you are an adult child, if you are named as power of attorney and someone else is trying to act, those could all give rise. So first and foremost, determining if you have the ability to bring that, and then always talking to an attorney is helpful to weigh in and get legal guidance. When someone is facing these types of challenges, we offer a free case assessment where people can tell us the exact circumstances that they're facing, and we can weigh in on what their legal rights and remedies may be, and then we can represent them in those types of legal proceedings should they choose to move forward.